Oh, fantastic job, Denise. Thank you so much, and welcome everybody back to the studio, Broadcast Studio A. My name is Steve Moulter. I'm the hoarse one of the four of us who's having trouble with his voice, but otherwise loving every minute of the show here, and we're so glad to have you with us on the broadcast. So, we are going to be with you all the way up till the top of the hour and our next session, which I'll tell you in a moment. But this innovation talk, sustainability, net zero capabilities. In just a moment, Denise is going to run all the way across to us and sit down with my buddy Nish Parker right over here in Studio B and continue that conversation around net zero. There are so many different ways that Cisco is contributing to sustainability all over the planet. You can find all of those sustainability initiatives in that great ebook that Denise just mentioned a moment ago during her iTalk. The name of that ebook is Cisco Sustainability Technology and Solutions. If you want to check it out, just scan that QR code. It's directly underneath my head, and you can go directly to it. That will take you straight to that source, and you can check it out for yourself. So like I said, we're with you right up to the top of the hour, 2 o'clock Central European time, and our next innovation talk. This is going to be a fantastic partner conversation, how we are modernizing the data center with innovative solutions from Cisco and from AMD. You're going to want to check that out. First though, we're going to head straight down the hall to the Sustainability Zone and my friend Cedric DeValder. And I think, Cedric, you've got a demo for us, is that right?
Absolutely, Steve. I am here in the Sustainability Zone in the hub, and man, I can hear your voice, but you're diehard, and we know it, so thank you for being with us, Steve. So I'm here in the Sustainability Zone. They're actually focusing on 6 key areas over here, so I'm just going to let you have a wander around right now. But essentially here, there are a lot of experts that can talk to you about sustainability, about Cisco. And actually, I have one of those experts with me here today. Christian is our global sustainability lead for Meraki. So Christian, how are you doing?
Very good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm really much enjoying Cisco Live here. It's good to be here. It's good to see you.
Great to be here, yeah.
Great. So we're going to talk a little bit more about energy-saving accelerators here in just this the quick few minutes here. So Christian, for Meraki, right? What are some general outcomes that we're trying to achieve with Meraki and sustainability?
Right, so we're looking at 3 main areas. So it's basically, the first one is to reduce the amount of travel that is required for IT operations and implementation, thanks to zero-touch deployment and remote management capabilities. Another one is to reduce waste, which we achieve mostly through our environmental sensors, where we can control the temperature, humidity, detect water leaks and so on. And another key area at the moment is really energy savings, where we have multiple use cases, how we can address that.
Awesome, great. So as you can see behind me, we have actually a dashboard running. So can you tell us a little bit more about what's happening on this dashboard?
Of course, so what we see here is the energy savings chart, which is related to our MT environmental sensors. And so this dashboard shows basically all the sensor readings in terms of temperature and humidity, and it's plotted on this chart, which goes back to industry standards, how air conditioning efficiency is being displayed. And we see here the readings from the cold aisle of the data center. It's also possible to display other areas, like we can show you, for example, that we can, at the moment, you can see we only have the cold aisle here, but we can also add, for example, the hot aisle sensors from a data center. So really, by grouping those readings together, get a really good visibility about where the different readings are.
So this is awesome, because how is this then in practice helping your customers in the end?
Right, so if you think of data centers, a main area where energy is being consumed is in the air conditioning area. So it takes a lot of energy to cool down those spaces that the IT infrastructure can operate in a safe and efficient manner. But very often we realize that those spaces are actually too cold. So the air conditioning runs more and is higher utilized than it could be. So by turning the heat up a little bit, right, so by increasing the temperature, you can actually save on the amount of energy you spend on air conditioning. But you also want to have a tight control then, because when you want to, when you see that the air conditioning units may be failing, for example, that the temperature is getting too high, like here, for example, you can see there are 2 sensor readings which are just off the chart, you want to be alerted as well. So what we do is we will send you an alert and inform you that there's maybe, the temperature a bit too high, so you want to investigate the air conditioning unit.
Okay, great. I think the cool thing actually is that I can see here it's Bedfont Lakes 10. It's actually the building where I sit day to day. So I mean, and I think that's also where the Cisco TV studio is in London. So yeah, but I'm a customer, let's say, Christian. I'm seeing this, I'm loving this. I'm sitting at home. I can't be at Cisco Live, unfortunately, but you have to be here next year. How can I access this?
Yeah, so all you really need is our empty environmental sensors and a gateway. So you see actually a sensor here, right? So it's Bluetooth connected, battery powered. So it's very easy to install them. You can just use them and stick them via a magnet to an IT rack. And they connect to a Meraki gateway, which can be either an access point or a camera. And once you have those products, you can just simply put them on the IT rack, start seeing the data and immediately seeing, is there a room for optimization, right? So what is the temperature today? And then take action to reduce the energy spent and then also verify what the outcome is so you can see the temperature readings changing in the dashboard.
Great. So I can see here, like, there's the gateway, right? I can also see here, like, I'm looking around, like, I can see sensors and so on. So what types of sensors does Meraki have, or are compatible with the dashboard?
Yeah, so at the moment we have a temperature and humidity sensor, we have a water leak detection sensor, a door open and closure sensor, air quality, which is an increasingly important topic, also in the light of post-pandemic, to monitor really what the air quality is in spaces. We have also an automation button, which you can do anything you want with, basically, right? So you can express intent, you can power down Wi-Fi, switchboards, but also send a message, for example, if a new cash register needs to be opened in a retail shop, right? So I think the applications are really widely spread there.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to ask you about that automation tool, right? So what do you think is the coolest automation in there?
Yeah, I think so. Really, I think the button really gets people excited, because it's a really. I would like to show it now. I don't have it here, but it's because it's so much possible with it. So for example, really just turning off the Wi-Fi, which is also an interesting use case to save energy. So when spaces are empty, no one's in a school, for example, no one's in an office, and to save on energy, you can start powering down infrastructure and really using this automation, which is possible to achieve those savings. So also in other areas. I think that's a great use case.
Awesome. Well, great. Thank you so much, Christian. We'll be back here in the Sustainability Zone later today, but I think my wonderful friend Steve is still in the studio. So Steve, are you there?
I am here, Cedric. Thank you so much. Fantastic job on that interview. Really good information and great demo there from Christian. Really appreciate it. So coming up in just a couple of minutes, we are going to go out to the world of solutions, and we are going to take a walk through the Metabus. Metabus is very cool. It's a great partnership between Cisco, Deutsche Bahn, VDL Bus and Coach, and A+ Video Clinic GmbH. So together, these phenomenal companies are helping to really expand access to reliable health care, and it's bringing small towns and big solutions together in such an exciting way. Nish is going to be taking us on a tour of the Medibus, which we're very excited about. Rob Boyd is going to be out front of the Medibus. They're going to kind of tag team on all of this, and they're going to give us a really good excitement. When we think about the shortage of digital knowledge, when we think about the number of people that we need to bring on board to serve our society in the greatest possible way, when it comes to medical, patients just don't have access to proper medical care in a lot of situations. Well, Metabus is bringing that primary care directly out to the people, plus things like company medical examinations and telehealth and translation services and vaccination campaigns and COVID-19 antibody testing, and all of it goes right where it is needed the most, which is incredibly exciting. So in just a moment, we have got the woman of the hour, Denise Lee, here on set with us. I'm going to be sending it over to Nish in just a second. A quick reminder, please keep reaching out to us using hashtag Cisco Live EMEA. You can also hit us up on any social media you prefer at Cisco Live EMEA. And remember to tell everybody that you know about the stream. Tell them to head directly to CiscoLive.com. They can go to Cisco.com, whatever works best for them. We would love to have as many people as possible on board. Our social media team is directly behind us, ready for your call, ready for your text. And right now I'm going to send it across to Studio B, where Nish is hanging out with Denise. Hello, Nish.
Hello, Steve. Thank you so much. Now I'm excited. I've got Denise Lee with me here in the studio. You've just done an amazing innovation talk, and we're lucky because we get a few moments with you, get the behind the scenes, right? So sustainability is obviously top of mind for a lot of our customers. Tell me why it's top of mind for Cisco, why we're focusing on it so much.
Cisco it has been reporting on our environmental since 2005. And when you think about Cisco's purpose, which is to power an inclusive future for all, there's a lot of plans, very specific plans and execution around every one of those words, and it all relates to how we plan for a more sustainable future, right? Whether it's how we're dealing with climate crisis, how we're embedding sustainability and energy efficiency into our products. It's just so core to who we are and what we do, and the customers that we serve, the governments around the world, because this is such an existential crisis and challenge today.
Got it. And obviously, like I said, sustainability, hot topic here at Cisco Live. What are some of the things that you're hearing from customers in terms of the challenges? Why are they coming to Cisco, and how are we helping them?
Yeah, it really comes down to one thing for all customers right now when it comes to Cisco, and it is the data. And when I say the data, how sustainability is measured is through carbon, greenhouse gas emissions, right? Carbon emissions. And so when we look at energy consumption, like that's where Cisco can help. And we're hearing from our customers, where do we start? How are we measuring? How do we reduce? Again, follow the data, and you'll follow kind of what customers' care abouts are. In the data center, we know it's a big footprint. Data centers are often seen as a very big energy hog. Right. When you look at the built environment in buildings, they are also seen as consuming a lot of electricity and energy. Particularly here in this region, we're in an energy crisis. And so there is even more kind of a finite point on how do we use our technology and our solutions to not just incrementally reduce some of the energy we're looking at, but maybe revolutionize how we consume power and how we build.
Got it. And obviously, it's a priority, sustainability globally for all our customers around the world. But when we look specifically at the, European region, we're here at Cisco Live EMEA. You mentioned obviously, the energy crisis. What are some of the priorities we have here within region for advancing sustainability?
Well, it's so almost serendipitous that Cisco Live happened the week after the president of the EU announced the Green Deal. Right, the Green Deal last week announced an entire 4-point plan, major investment in skills, new skills that are needed for the advancement of clean tech and its technology, new regulations that are coming out. So I think when we look region to region, most of it in this area is going to be a little bit more focused on the energy crisis. But when I think about the skill sets that are needed, again, it spans everything from maybe power engineering to thermal to even chemical engineering in some cases, because of some of the technology that we're looking at to advance in this area.
And, for some customers, it could seem quite overwhelming to say, how do I get started towards net zero? Some customers are further, along their strategy and have a more mature strategy. What advice would you give to those organizations that are earlier on? How do they get started? How can Cisco support? What are the next steps?
Oh, it's such a great question. We're actually, we've jointly published a paper and some research work with IDC that helps articulate just that, right? The point is, regardless of where you are on your journey, A, we're all on this journey together, and B, there are specific steps and actions that you can take to help further along your entire organization and do it within the ecosystem and a community that can help you, right? So again, starting with the data and how and where you start to measure, there are no shortage of, again, partners, vendors, ecosystems of solutions that can help you accelerate on that journey. And I think the point is, it doesn't matter where you are, start somewhere, baseline, and go from there.
And I think when we had Rebecca Stone in the studio earlier today as well, she was, it was music to people's ears when she was talking about how customers don't have to rip out everything that they have. They can, do more with less. I was making sure I got that the right way around as well. So lots of comfort for customers there, even if they are earlier on in their journeys. Now, I know that there's lots of regulations coming in place, lots of policies. How do they impact customers' decision making when it comes to, the technology that they're using, and how Cisco plays a role in that?
Hugely. In fact, this region is often seen as far ahead in its sustainability, regulations and compliance and really just overall education and awareness. So when you think about, how RFPs are going out and customers choosing to work with vendors because maybe they have a cleaner supply chain, or they have circular design practices, or they've eliminated the use of, what I call the naughty list, right? There's a list of chemicals and products that we know what we know now, we didn't know then, right? We didn't quite know they were toxic back then, but now that we know, we're removing them and eradicating them. So to the extent that we start to see more and more of both these regulations and the enforcement of them, I think we'll start to see a lot of changes in behavior, and hopefully a lot of really good actors trying to accelerate the movement to a cleaner environment and more circular design and circular consumed products.
I love what you just said there about, what we didn't know, we do know now when we move forward together, and it's a learning journey for all of us, right? And we're all striving towards that. Thank you, Denise. I just want to say, I know we've talked about the ebook, and Steve mentioned it earlier. Tell us a little bit about what that resource is and how it's going to help customers.
Well, first of all, it's very sustainable, right? It's a simple QR code that takes you to an online ebook that walks you through Cisco's solutions. The details of those solutions, our various products. It also walks through the overall life cycle of a customer and all the various programs, incentives, initiatives that we're putting into place. One such program that a lot of customers don't know about, and I'm hearing all the buzz here at Cisco Live as I learn, is that we have a free take-back program. Customers can take old products, package them up, take a picture of it. Cisco will come pick it up from them, and then 99.9% of those products will be responsibly recycled, remanufactured, and reused.
I love that.
So imagine,
we're making it easy, right?
We're making it easy. Imagine how much junk you can get out of those IT closet for so many of our customers. I wish we could apply that for the rest of things in life, but this program's great. We actually have a demo here that deconstructs and does a teardown of a product, so you can actually see what that looks like. But it's nearly 100% responsibly recycled, remanufactured, and reused, and that's pretty remarkable.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. I know we'll be covering sustainability the whole way, through the whole week. Denise, thank you so much. Steve, we're going to head back to Studio A.
Thank you so much, Nish. Appreciate it. Great job, Denise. Really excellent iTalk and great conversation here. From all these sustainability initiatives to creating a truly inclusive future for all, Cisco is all about technology innovations and creative partnerships, and we have got one of those coming up for you right now. Stay with us. We're going to take a very, very quick station break here for branding. We'll be back with you in just a moment.